Welcome to once again another absolutely, truly cannot miss show right here at 100% Truth with your host, Sal Santori. And today, our guest is going to be Senator Gene Yaw, who is the Pennsylvania Senator, rather, Republican is what I was about to say, for District 23, and none other than the great counties of the super hunting areas in Pennsylvania. So we get a lot of sportsmen, a lot of hunters up in that area, and a lot of veterans. So what I'm trying to say is we've got some real meat and potatoes type folks in that area who can truly appreciate what's going on with um, VFWs, legions, the whole veteran world as far as post service and camaraderie. And Senator Shaw, I knew I was going to do that. Senator Yaw, I apologize profusely. Um, Senator Yaw has been an advocate and fighter for our veterans and everything about veterans way beyond 2008 when he was elected to the Senate in Pennsylvania. And he's been fighting for the last 7 years ever since, or 17 rather. Um, Good Lord, I'll tell you what, some days it's foggy, and today it's like my wipers in my brain aren't even working. Um, but what we're doing is we've had a little bit of tech difficulty, so we're going to bring Senator Yaw on by phone. We'll get his audio, and I'll stay live on the show here as I'm speaking with you now, and I will just hold the phone so that we can get his input as well. We'll hear both sides of the conversation. But before we get on with Senator Yaw, I want to definitely, as I do every week, thank our sponsors, our community partners, and obviously welcome all new members, new family members, which I do every week. And like I say, each and every week, and this is like uh, no misrepresentation, no exaggeration. We have new members coming in every week who, as I say, once you understand what we're doing, um, it becomes a no brainer to want to get involved and want to be a part of what we're doing. And I'm talking about getting the word out to veterans and families through the show here and also through Project Intervene. We are very proactive in preventing veteran suicide through our education and our seminars and everything that we do for the public, um, to let folks know what's going on. And the education part is how we teach people how to understand what you're seeing as far as veteran suicide, the behaviors that are leading to it, um, and being able to interpret what you're seeing and therefore be able to recognize the signs, the symptoms, and know that there's something going on way more than just something is going on wrong a little bit and we're just having a bad day. Um, Once we realize what we're seeing and what's going on, we can definitely take the approach to realize that we have to do something about this. We take a look and understand we're not just seeing somebody having a bad day. We're not just seeing a trail of bad days. We're seeing some real stuff going on. And by being able to understand what it is, we can go to the next step which is okay, what do we do about it? And that's the other thing that we teach is how to build a safe intervention team. And once we understand how to build a safe intervention team, then we're able to put together folks on a team who are professionals and able to deal with what we're talking about. People who are familiar with the process of veteran suicide. And this does not limit itself to veteran suicide. This can be in any setting, any situation. And we can realize that, we're seeing certain sets of behaviors. We understand why, what Not so much why, but we understand what's behind it. So it takes some of the mystery out of it and we can attack it in that fashion. So, once again, I want to let everybody know we're broadcasting here live at the Hershey American Legion, post 386 in Hershey, PA, on East Derry Road. And we're here, and it's a beautiful club. I shot a little clip earlier and posted it to Facebook so we could see the inside of the club and what's going on here. And I they have an event coming up Saturday, August 9th, and it's the Legion Float with Friends. This is another annual event. I'm not sure if it's a third, fourth, fifth, or 100th time they've done this, but they're fantastic. And I was invited last year and was not able to join the fun and the festivities. But um, give me just 1 second, folks. Can you kill that? Okay, we're back. Um, I was not able to join the festivities last year, but they have it every year. And this year is going to be once again to contact the folks here at the Legion. And it is August 9th. August 9th. They have a fantastic menu here. Um, at the Legion. They brought in a fellow who he tells me he's not a chef, and I beg to differ. I've sampled his food several times, and I want to tell you something. This guy definitely knows what he's doing and puts out an amazing spread. Um, so by all means, come on out here, get some food. They have things right now. Now they're building their menus, so they have on here right now. They have fried pickles, jalapeno poppers, beer battered onion rings, bacon, fries, hamburger, cheeseburger, crispy chicken sandwich, BLT, fish and chips. Here's my favorite. I'll tell you what. I was here last evening for dinner, and it was the second time I've ordered fish and chips, and I'm going to tell you, it is nothing short of fantastic. They have the most amazing, huge fillet of fish, the best anywhere I've ever been. Yeah, and they've just introduced stromboli and pizza. So I want to tell you, come on out here and visit at the Hershey Legion. Help these guys grow, man. They're doing a fantastic job. And I'm looking for anybody to send questions in right now. I have that up. Send in some questions. Another one of our folks who is be- working at becoming a community partner. They've expressed some interest and we've had some discussion, but this would be PA TAP and the Pennsylvania Skill Games support small businesses, fraternal clubs, and volunteer organizations. And that's exactly what we'll be talking about here today with Senator Yaw, who I'm told is about to get on the line here with us. So I'm going to watch for that call so I can take it. And like I said, we will be talking. We'll have Senator Yaw by phone for audio, and we'll just continue with the show in that manner. But I want to get back to the Pennsylvania skill games, and one of our big sponsors that we're talking about possibly coming on board, and we may even be doing some shows on WLBR at 11 and on a Sunday morning at 7:30, and that is the good folks at Pacematic, and they are really one of the driving forces behind the whole PA skill games, uh, and we're definitely combating the efforts of certain members who are attempting to tax the living daylights out of the skill games, which in effect will put the clubs out of business. They know that, we know that, they don't care. So what we're talking about is having a bill similar to Senator Yaw, and his is the answer that says, okay, we can effectively um, address all folks and have a win-win across the board and guarantee to keep the clubs open to continue everybody's benefit. I'm looking for Senator Yaw to call right now. I'm just waiting to see that call come in. And another one of our new community sponsors is Shay's Vending. Um, you want to call Shays and see how it pays, they are one of the great folks who have been in business since 1928. And it's been family owned ever since, passed down through each generation. And currently, Bill and Willie Shea are running the helm along with Samantha and Cindy. Definitely, very supportive. You can't really do a family business without the complete family. So we want to say thank you to both Cindy and Sandra for being involved in the whole business. But Shay's Vending is one of the folks who makes sure the machines that are in all of these clubs are working great, working well, and continues to offer service to our veterans and families and making sure that the clubs are doing everything that they're able to through having these machines. And Shays is one of the big supporters of the fight against Bill 756 through Casino Crest. So we're definitely looking forward to this battle so that we can take it to the extreme and not be bullied or bulldozed by the casinos and their nonsense, which is basically tantamount to what they're doing is the casinos are saying, all right, we want to be the big guys. We want to be they are the big guys. They want to be the only guys in town. And there's no reason for that. We don't need that. Um, we already have plenty to go around. The little bit that the skill machines operate on, revenue wise, has no effect on the casinos whatsoever. That's not even a possibility. So, what we're talking about is them just wanting to be the big guys in town. Um, so, give me just a second here. I am going to reach out to Senator Yaw and see if we can't just get him on the line here. Um, 41988. Okay. This is like driving me crazy here. My PTSD says, what? You're working too hard there, Sal. It's just been too damn difficult. Um, yeah. Okay, let's try dialing here and we'll get Senator Yaw on the phone. Oh, Lord. Mm. Okay. 4198851. Give me just a second. Okay, I think. Okay, one more second here. Uh, we are slowly but surely getting around to dialing this number. 8851. Okay. Okay. All right, we're about to dial right here. Okay, we keep missing. Okay, believe me, folks, when we get this, it'll be worth it. You'll be glad you listened. And we're dialing Gene's number right now. Let's see if we can get him. Okay. Good afternoon, Senator Yaw. Oh, okay, great. I have you on speaker here. I'm going to go ahead and hold the phone up to the microphone so folks can hear you. Welcome to the show, Senator.
Yes, and I apologize. I don't know what the electronic problems are, but I guess they go with the territory.
Yeah, every now and then it seems like we run into some blips, but I'm so glad we got to connect on the show here. I've made a bit of an introduction, and we're definitely looking at having some discussion about Bill 626, and I mentioned what a great uh, battle you've been doing for veterans and families in the clubs, and how you've been in this position to advocate for veterans, families, and troops since 2008. So I want to compliment you on your service and thank you for what you do.
Well, we try, and that's all I tell people. You know, we try to do things and to serve people and do the right thing, and that's how we got involved in.
And that's basically right. We're not genies and wizards. We can try and try and try. Um, Unfortunately, we don't always control the outcomes, but that's the whole key is our effort. So, Senator, would you care to give us a little bit of an idea of how Bill 626 began and how it came into to being written?
Sure, happy to do that. This is a bill I've worked on. I don't even remember anymore. I think it's probably more than 5 years that we have been going back and forth with this bill and talking to operators and talking to actually Pacematic. And one of the things I'd like to make clear to everybody, when I talk about skill games, I'm talking about the games. The only ones that have been challenged in court are the Pacematic games, and they've been the ones that have carried the legal ball for ever since 2014, actually.
Let's say that again. Since 2014.
Yeah, that's when the first cases, the Pennsylvania State Police filed the first criminal action against Pacematic and skill games in 2014.
Okay, so this has been going on quite a while.
11 years. And the irony is that during this time, and I mean, I wasn't involved with them initially, but like I said, about 5 or 6 years ago, it was before COVID. I toured Mealy Enterprises here, Mealy Amusement, which actually puts the cabinetry together, and that's how I got interested in it.
Okay.
So ever since then, we have been working on putting this bill together. And, what we try to do is recognize the difference between, what skill games are and what the slot machines are, and to make it clear and put it in writing, and that it benefits the people that it's intended for. Very important point, I think, up front is to say is Pacematic, the games are specifically developed to provide supplemental income to small businesses, veterans organizations, and our local taverns. That is the specific purpose of it, and they have to be associated with some business that's unrelated to the gaming industry. And that's the entire focus of the Senate Bill 626. It has a different focus. And like I said, when I talk about skill games, then I'm talking about ones that have been through 11 court decisions that all say that they're legal and that they are not under the Gaming Control Act.
Let me just repeat that for our viewers and listeners. Did you say 7? I'm sorry. How many court
11.
cases have we won?
11.
11. That's fantastic. And they're still trying to say there's a problem somewhere?
Yeah. Well,
they're dumber than we
like
think.
One of those things is like, well, I don't care what the courts say. I'm going to do something different. And
sounds like a Democrat to me.
It's kind of disrespectful of the court decisions to say, well, that's fine. We're going to do something else. And, I mean, that's the big issue in this thing.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of like, wow. I mean, there's nothing to really say to it says it all. It really says it all. Like, yeah, to have 11 court cases that state the facts, and they still want to decide that now we don't care. They must have missed something somewhere, right? Um, what,
Even one of the court decisions that I don't remember which one. I think it may have been one from Cumberland County, but uh, the court said that the Commonwealth, in their effort to get rid of all these types of games, doesn't really look at the difference in the games, and they just lump everything together. And that's exactly that's exactly the problem. We've had this throughout. Is people say, and unfortunately, there are a lot of legislators that won't take the time to sit down and say, "Hey, okay, I need to understand the difference, and here's what the difference is." And they just won't take the time to do it. And the court said that that's a problem for the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth wouldn't take the time to recognize what the differences were between a game of chance and a game of skill. And I mean, I can briefly tell you what that is also. The courts have said that, if the predominant factor is the game of skill, that makes it, not within the Gaming Control Act. And the Commonwealth, one of the Commonwealth witnesses in one of the cases actually testified that, yes, a player has the opportunity to win this game every time you play it. Now, if the majority of us do it, probably not. But an astute player can win the game every time. And, that's a huge difference. And that's the difference between a skill game and a game of chance. The game of chance are slot machines. They're pre-programmed. There's an electronic algorithm in the machine. And if you happen to be sitting on the stool at the right time when it gets to that point, then you may be a winner. But all you can do is you sit there and you push a button or you pull a lever, and you can't affect the outcome of what's going to happen electronically in that machine. Skill games, on the other hand, you can actually affect the outcome every time. There are people that I have talked to, actually staff members in Harrisburg, that say, I figured this out. I know how to win playing a skill game.
now, are they willing to?
That's a huge difference.
Are they willing to share their knowledge for a fee?
I don't know. I never asked them that.
Right.
Some of them have mentioned what do you have to do, and I don't know. Here's the other thing, which just blows my mind. Everybody that's listening, and we all have cell phones. On your cell phone, you can play every casino game that's in a casino on your cell phone.
Now, Senator,
you can buy lottery. You can buy lottery tickets on your cell phone.
Let me just ask you this real quick question: is there any ability there anywhere to regulate whether people under 18, minors, are able to do that or not, able to access these games or not?
You mean on your cell phone?
Yeah.
As far as on the cell phone, no, I don't know of any way. I mean, how many millions of cell phones are out there that people carry? And I mean,
right.
Every kid that I know has a cell phone.
Exactly.
I don't know
I don't want
any way to regulate that.
Right. Now, I don't want to take us down a different path here, but I just want to make one point, okay, which really reinforces exactly what 626 is about. And I don't want to stay on this too hard, but Bill 756 has part of its language that says, they want to protect kids from being able to access these machines, which now we come back and we take a look. And you're exactly right in what you say, that, casino gambling is available on each and every cell phone. All you have to do is download the app. And, there are no parental guidelines on there when you download the app that says, you're under 18, you can't do it. So I just want to let folks know that there's a huge difference here between 756 and 626, which 626 makes far more sense, and is very real and actually addresses very legitimate concerns. So with that, I apologize for interrupting, Senator, but I just really wanted to make that point.
Oh, no, you're certainly welcome. I mean, I think that that's the most ludicrous argument that there is. I mean, it is absolutely ludicrous. And, under my bill, the skill games have to be located in a public area. They can't be in, stuff in a back room somewhere.
Right,
So
right.
we trust the clerks in stores to make sure that if somebody is buying tobacco products, that they're the right age, or if somebody is buying alcohol, that they're the right age. But yet we don't trust that same person to say, oh, well, the kids are just going to flock in and they're not going to play these games. It is the most asinine argument that I have ever heard. It is asinine.
Here's another one for you. Another argument is about the security and afraid it's going to be turned into a criminal enterprise. Um, how secure do you actually feel in a room full of veterans?
Well, that just goes to I'll tell you, in 756, there was not one military veteran involved in anything. Nobody was even consulted.
Huge point, sir. Huge point.
Why would you want to consult somebody? And that's like thumbing your nose not only at the court system, but you're thumbing your nose at veterans because they're not smart enough to be able to control these. It is so offensive to me that I can't believe, that somebody actually put this forward.
I'll tell you what, I sat and I went through it on the air, and I also went through a lobbyist's letter to the editor on behalf of the casinos. And it's like, it was so blatantly obvious that it was just totally ridiculous, made absolutely no sense. It's like, how by taking money away from a business are you helping them out? I fail to understand that. How by
it's the most it's the most anti-small business and anti-veteran bill I have ever seen.
Yeah,
I mean
yeah,
so,
it's just to go back to a point you made, but by the fact that them having no veterans on that decision or writing body says exactly what you mentioned. We're smarter than all you veterans. You can't know what's best for you, and it's like, that's really problematic.
The bottom line is this. Look, I don't care what you can. There's been a lot of discussion about the tax rate in 756. You could set the tax rate at 0. 756 is designed to kill skill games. Period.
Yes.
That's it. That's the intent, and it is so onerous. It will do it. If it passes, it will do it. And here's the irony in the whole thing is the governor is looking at skill games to produce money for transportation. If this bill passes, I guarantee it, there will be no money for any transportation.
Do you think that might be because all the clubs close?
Well, yeah. People are either the clubs will close or, here's what my opinion, what my own take on this. 756 is going to create two things. It's going to make a lot of good people criminals if they continue, or the flip side of it is everything that happens is going to go underground, just like the old speakeasies used to be back in the 1930s.
Yeah.
We apparently haven't learned anything.
Right. Somehow this is going to have a different outcome, right? Because they're smarter now, Senator. They're smarter.
Well, that's part of my problem. I mean, I guess I've been around too long, and I just not up to speed on some of the really good stuff.
Right. Wow, this is most interesting. But I really, really like um, what you're saying about regardless of the tax percentage, um, which I've been saying all along. The goal is casinos. They have an agenda, and their goal is to wipe out the skill machines. They want to be the only guys in town, which is redundant because the skill machines have absolutely zero effect on their revenues, none. So it has to be, yeah, it has to be about greed and ego. But I'd like to touch a little more on the fact that it doesn't matter what the level percentage of tax is, what the effect and outcome is looked to be had by these folks.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, the regulations are so onerous. I'm not even sure that any veterans organization would ever qualify. I mean, they'll probably ask a question. Did you ever carry a gun of a veteran? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, there's. I mean, that's how really. Backward this thing is. You're Here's the other thing, and kind of a response to this. The casino industry in the last 2 or 3 years has set a record every month. I think that their revenues are like $6 billion a year. And here's the difference. There's a different clientele, not only like veterans, but even at the local taverns. There's a different clientele that use or patronize skill machines. If you're a welder or whatever, say you're a construction worker, and you're going home at night, and you stop in a local tavern and to have a beer. Now wait a minute. Is that money that would have gone to the casino? Because when you're a welder and you're on your way home, are you going to go to stop in the casino and play a game or have a beer? I don't think so. The clientele is entirely different. And the other thing about this, I should have mentioned this too, about why skill games are so important to even taverns or the VFWs or the American Legion or whatever, is the only way that they can be played is you have to be there in person. You can't play them on your phone, and you can't play them remotely unless you're going to carry a skill game around on your back. I mean,
yeah. So we have no off-track wagering, right?
That's a major difference. And when the only time you can get in to play them is when the VFW is open or the American Legion or whatever it is. And I mean, the whole idea of lumping all these things together, I for the life of me, I don't understand why. I don't get it, and that's part of the problem with this bills that are out there is lumping them all together. It doesn't serve anybody's purpose except the casinos.
Right. They're looking for the rate of return.
Let's put them out of business.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure if some of the casinos were really talked to, whether they really care about skill games as much as their own, that they're using skill games to get something that they want. I don't know.
Well, my feeling is, that there is a tight knit group, the controllers of the casino industry, and they're the only ones that really care, because evidently there's some more billion-dollar things that have caught their eyes, and rubbing out the skill games will just eliminate any possibility of competition, and they can just sleep well knowing they're the only game in town, and start reaching out for these new things that caught their eyes. But the average folks who work in the casinos and even the management, they don't care. Ask them about a skill game, and it's like, a what? What are you talking about? They don't even care. They don't even know what they are. So this is definitely,
you hit the nail right on the head. There's another huge difference between skill games and the casinos. The casino profits, I don't know where they go. Some stockholder that may or may not live in Pennsylvania. I think that I don't even know where the corporate headquarters is for some of them, and I don't really care. But the difference is skill games are local. You know, the money spent locally and the charities that they support and the businesses that they support, it's all local. The
Right.
local VFW, the local American Legion, the local bar. That's where the money stays. And so, when people look at this thing, they have a choice. And it's like, okay, we can give all the money to this conglomerate, this corporate conglomerate casino to send out of the state, or we can support local business and local programs.
Right. You know what? If the beauty of it is that this is it's the same everywhere. It's all local. Exactly what you're talking about. It's not like if you go over to Cumbria County, let's say, they're sending theirs to New Jersey, right? They're sending their it's like it all stays local, no matter where you go in Pennsylvania. Yeah,
Yes, that's exactly right. Exactly right.
yeah. So it's like it all comes down to the greed and how heavy can the casinos push and get guys like Casino Chris to really get in their pocket. I don't know if they sent Casino Chris out to Vegas, and I'm sure he fell into a trap out there and got his picture taken in some compromising positions, and now he can't get out. But
I have I
you
have
know,
no idea. I don't know anything at all about that. So
yeah, yeah, that was just my 2 cents. But the point I'm making is like this is something that has a tremendous backlash, and it's through people like you that we want to make sure the proper bill reaches the floor and the proper bill gets passed and works for all the veterans, families, and communities, in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. This is a statewide issue, so regardless of where we might live, this is a statewide issue. We need to reach out. I have a ticker going at the bottom to encourage folks to reach out to their local legislators, but I also have your number on there. If someone wants to reach out to your office and feels a need to go ahead and reach
yeah,
out.
um, yeah, it's really interesting what you say. This is a statewide issue, and there's some things I just can't compete with. I mean, there are interests in Harrisburg. They have money that they can distribute to various, projects and other legislators. I can't do that. But you know, what we can do is, I guess for lack of a better word, they're buying votes. Well,
Exactly.
they can't buy the people's vote, and they can't buy the votes of veterans, and they can't buy the votes of people that go to the local tavern or the local convenience store, and that's I guess that for lack of a better word, I'm saying this is a grassroots campaign that people need to say, wait a minute, I don't care what you're saying, Harrisburg. Here's what the people want. Here's what benefits the people, and that's why we need help to support this. And I tried to provide a vehicle that was common sense and it would benefit people and it would actually get rid of these illegal mini casino parlors that people complain about and to help everybody out and still preserve the integrity of what happens with BFWs and the local taverns and that. Like I said, I provided the vehicle, but I need people to help me. If that's what they want, they need to help me get that vehicle through.
You know what, Senator? I'd like to help you do just that. I know there's some great folks. I have some friends up in the counties that you represent, and I'll get with Liz and you later in the week. But I think we could do some
Okay.
shows. I think we could do some shows and reach some folks in those counties. I think that'd be great.
I'm happy to participate wherever I can because I just think I really think this is important. Look, I'm a veteran. I belong to the VFW. I belong to the American Legion. The people I have been to and talked to in these organizations say, but for skill games, we couldn't exist. And I know what they do and how they help people, the charities they support and everything. And I'm just not going to give up and say, okay, we'll just throw this away and let the casinos have their way and take all of our money.
Mm.
That just doesn't fly with me.
No, no. And I visited with some VFWs and Legions who have told me verbatim that they include the revenues off the skill machines into their annual budget. And without that, there's so much, like you're saying. I know some of them have done additions onto their clubs through the skill machine revenues. They're so important. They've donated to Boy Scouts, which I know Boy Scouts and baseball, you're a huge, um, an important part of. You've been instrumental. I read some of your bio, and it's like very impressive. You're a man for the people, not the buck. So I just want to tell you, I noticed that. I want to let our folks know, the kind of man, which I'm sure your local folks already know, the type of man you are, your character, your morals. I want to let the folks that don't know that understand just how good of a man you are. So I want to tell you, thank you for your service and thank you for everything you've done for the youth and the communities. Thank you, Senator.
Well, I've always been that way, and it's just that there's the right thing to do, and I take great. I like to accomplish things. I like to put good things together, and I always like to do that. Is my background as a lawyer, and that was my goal.
Oh, darn, you just ruined it. I guess I'm fired too now, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just couldn't resist that one, but thank you.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, that's brilliant because I'm sure that your education and training save a lot of like painstaking time in doing things that you do to benefit folks. Yeah.
Yeah. We, as I said right at the beginning, we try, and that's kind of
Right.
my office's motto.
Right.
We try, and we try to do the right thing, and serve the people the best that we can, knowing that we can't satisfy everybody all the time. I know that.
Right. Right. Senator, thank you so very much for coming on the show. I'm extremely honored. I really am. I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate everything that you do. And we will definitely reach out and see what we can do to let folks know uh, what 626 is all about. Is there anything you'd like to let the folks know before we close here?
Yeah, there is. There is something that I'd like to, and this is kind of the irony of this conversation we're having. If today's June 14th, and today happens to be the 250th birthday of the United States Army. And the irony is, here we are. We're on the 250th birthday of the United States Army, and we're talking about legislation which is basically designed to curtail the lifeblood of the veterans organizations. I just can't overlook that.
What a conclusion. Yeah. Happy birthday. We'll sticking you in the back.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what? Wow. I can't believe I missed that too. But you're exactly right. Let's celebrate. And guess what? We're going to try to close you down. Unbelievable.
Today is the day. It's the actual June the 14th.
You know what? You know what I keep coming back to that you pointed out is that none of these individuals have been in military service. None, not one.
No,
That just
no.
like makes me want to go insane, to be honest with you. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have some thoughts about the benefits of military service and military training, and it's a interesting concept. Sometime we can talk about
Right.
it.
Senator, thank you so very, very much. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
you're quite welcome, and if I can help anybody or provide any additional information or anything, or answer any questions, I'm happy to do it. I mean,
Great. We'll be reaching
we
out. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank,
Okay.
thank you to our global greatest of all time family of viewers and listeners. And I want to let you know we've been talking with Senator Gene Yaw, the 23rd District in Pennsylvania. And as I mentioned earlier, the counties that comprise some great hunting areas and well known for their hunting sportsmen, some very all American folks living up there, part of the very fabric of Pennsylvania. And Senator Yaw is the representative for that area. And we want to talk more about Senate Bill 626 and how it helps and benefits regulation as far as skill games in Pennsylvania. So follow us along on Facebook, and I'll keep you updated on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. And as I say each and every week, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And as always, please remember, find someone to help.